Okay, Victron and our solar system update. Our original goal or purpose was to extend our off-grid camping from weekends to many weeks, eliminate the dependence on lead-acid batteries. As we know, they have a short lifespan, about 300 charges, and you have to always keep it at 50% or higher, or otherwise you'll shorten the life of your lead-acid batteries. I wanted to use all the 120-volt devices that's in our trailer, also to run like our coffee machine, the espresso. We have heating blankets on the bed when needed, and of course, hair dryers, fans, and occasionally short use of air conditioning before bedtime. By so doing this, we will also eliminate the need to buy a soft start, which are a crazy price, way overpriced, and shore power filters. So the savings there we could apply to our Victron purchases. And I designed it in such a way that I could return the RV to original setup. I did not want to do any converter replacement. It had to be portable, but not fixed. I can slide out the system and return it to the original setup and junction box. There's certainly a lot of debate whether I should go 12 volts or 48 volts DC. I just couldn't see a need for my scenario. But, things change. And especially if prices drop down far enough. So I design in such a way that if I do want to switch from 12 volt to 48 volts, it only require one piece of equipment to replace. That's it. And it had to be made safe. I don't want no busbar exposures, proper wiring sizes, and the right fuses for each battery. I see some people, they hook up their batteries using one cable, usually 4-odd or heavier, putting a 400 or 600 amp fuse. Nah, that's not my way of doing it. Each battery, if it's a 200 amp, 200 amp fuse, 300, 300. So each battery will have their own fuse and their own switch. This is where my system that I have works perfect. We also took into consideration our RV load capacity. We do have a 28-foot Cougar, 4-season. It's about 31 feet bumper to bumper. I don't want to reach a point where I use heavy equipment or take up all my storage space to install this. And I think I found a perfect balance with this Victron system, the type of batteries I've used, and I have a few ideas about the solar panels. Thinking I'm going to test some SIGs to see if they work out. In the meantime, I'm just using temporary testing for my solar panel. And I think I pretty well decided on which batteries to get. There's also another consideration that you have to take in. It's where you're going to be camping, where you're going to be spending your time. You need to know what your average temperature would be, where you're going to be camping mostly. We usually do the Rocky Mountains. It's cool at night, even summertime, 4 to 10 degrees Celsius. During the day, 20 to 28 degrees Celsius. Of course, recently we are having some climate change where it could become an issue, maybe later. And this summer, we had 35 degrees Celsius steady in the mountains, would you believe? We also took into consideration our water supply. We wanted to extend our showers, which is why we got the Joule system, We have a video on that. We're very happy with that system. It allows us to do laundry, dishes, and we can use non-potable water for our showers, laundry, dishwashing. This way we save and we don't contaminate our RV tanks, which we sterilize every so often. And our solar system provides power and propane, so we don't have to be watching for it all the time. Regarding the 12 volt and 48 volt debate, there's no question about 48 volt DC. There's many advantages. However, some of the cons that they throw at the 12 volt system, I can't quite agree. Yes, I do see people using 4-odd heavy cable, maybe one fuse, one switch going to their battery system of maybe 600 or more amps. That is not a good idea, nor would it be safe. This is why with our system, each battery has their own cable. We don't have to use 4-odd. It's sized according to the capacity of the battery. In our scenario, we're using 2-odd. The only time we use 4-odd is from our Victron inverter to our distributor. That's it. All the other batteries will only be 2-odd wire. Right now, we've have it set up for 5 feet, which will be there and back. When you're calculating amperage load, you got to total 5 feet, and then you have a return, which is another 5 feet, so it's 10 feet. The way our system is set up, we probably can reduce this to 3 feet. Total would be 6 feet per battery. So it's not going to cost you more in wire. Yes, but if you use 4-odd on everything, that wouldn't be an ideal way of doing it. Another thing you would have to keep in mind, you need to have all the wires the same length and use a bus bar. So this way the charging, discharging will be balanced. We have a video, I think, from a while back that you can get more details if you want. Regarding batteries, avoid the 100 amp batteries. We do have 3 ourselves, but it's for another purpose, running electric motor on a boat. We did try and ordered one SOK battery, 205. It was nice, but there was things about it I didn't like, so I decided not to use that. Then we picked up one SOK SunFun kit, no, SFK SunFun kit, 300 HP, and we loved it. We have since had that battery updated so that we can monitor it, even use it as a BMS, which will be another video. We'll deal about that. Impressed with it so far. Love where it's going. If this is the battery we decide, we'll probably end up getting another up to total of 4. We have 1, so we end up purchasing 3 more over time, depending on our capacity that we determine that we need. It will depend on how many solar panels, how well they work. We do have a generator, so we're not stuck if we happen to run a little bit low. Also, keep in mind, don't depend just on one battery. Get a minimum of 2. If, for example, you have one 400, you're probably better off to get 2 300s. Or if you can afford your 2 400s. Because you never know, BMS can fail, some issue can happen. And if you're out in the boonies, I think worse when your batteries are gone. And especially if you don't have a generator. Just as a precaution, that's all. Okay, this is the only unit that I would have to replace if I decided to go to 48 volt DC. Well, as of this time, we have not seen no reason to go that way. We have the Cougar with the original owner. It's 8 years old now. It's a 30 amp service. There's only one 120 volt. The larger trailers usually have two lines of 120 volts. So, what does this unit do? The Multiplus. This is the Multiplus 12 volt, 3000 watt, 120 amp charger. They have a Multiplus 2 and different other ones for higher capacity. In our scenario, it works more than adequate. This unit has a sine wave inverter, eliminating the need for me to have a filter in when I'm offshore. Has a transfer switch. For example, if for some reason the offshore power goes off, the switch is off, it'll run off the battery, maintain everything. And you can even set up alarms, notification when that happens. Audible alarms or even just notification, which is very handy. This is a feature that I like the most, power assist. I have a 2000 watt generator. If I want to start off my AC off that, not having this system, I couldn't. I definitely wouldn't be forced to get a soft start. But I knew I was going to get solar, so it didn't make sense for me to spend $500-600. Yeah, I know, crazy price. The last time I looked, not worth it. I'll take that and put it towards my Multiplus. What's nice about this Multiplus, I can run the air conditioning. Oh, if I want to run it a long time, for example, have the generator running, air conditioning will start up no problem because the Multiplus will take power from my generator and also from the battery to run it. And usually, as you know, an AC has a surge. Once that surge is gone, a generator can run it. So it doesn't even have to use the battery if it didn't want to. And if the battery needs to be charged, the generator will be running the AC and also charging the battery. You can program this unit very easily using an app or display device, whatever way you want. And let's say I'm plugged into a 15 amp circuit. Okay, I just tell it I only have 15 amps. I usually set it for 14, so this way it gives a little bit of headroom. If I'm hooked up to a 30 amp service, then I say I'm running 30 amps, and it will behave knowing what the maximum amperage source that it has. This unit, of course, is capable up to 50 amps, though I only need 30. Yes, I could add a second unit if I need two 120s or increase my capacity, but you're better off to get a separate unit because space. Yeah, I really wouldn't be able to put a second unit in there. I would just replace it. Okay. The links to the distributor, 100 amps. This is where the Multiplus is connected for in and out. My solar, any accessories that I want to run, that's 12 volts, such as my Joulka. I also have a USB charger running off that cabling. With 1000 amp, it will allow me for future expansion. And each of those 4 bus bar connectors, they're fused. And the LED, of course, would tell you if a fuse is open. The next unit is the Lynx Shunt 100 amp. It provides the battery charge percentage, provides a battery charging, discharging wattage, current, and also acts as BMS, controlling the charge and discharge rate. Again, 1000 amps for future expansion. The Lynx Power In, which is the far left unit, it comes without no fuses or fuse mounting. I just get some M8 nuts and bolts, and there's 4 lines in there, and I have 4 fuses. And I size the fuse to match the capacity of the battery, whatever its limit is for charging and discharging. As I mentioned before, the cable, 2 odd, they're of equal length, which is important, and I can have 4 set of battery banks. Right now, 1 set goes to 1 battery, but I can put 1 set to 2 batteries and still maintain that balance. When you go to a third, then you start losing. So keep that in mind. And the Servo GX is the one right in the middle and the bottom. That's the brains. It provides Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, internet connections. It provides relay connections where you can do a generator stop-start if you want. There's sensors for, you can hook up your water, gray tank, black tank. You can even monitor propane levels if you want using that system. And that's the unit I use to set my AC off-grid limits. If I'm connected to 15 amps or to a 15 amp generator, I let the unit know I only have 15 amps. And you can set this up in increments from 1 to 30 amps. And when it goes over 15 amps, the system will take the rest from the battery bank. Now, I'm using a small solar unit, 100 volts, 30 amp. Enough for the 200 to 400 solar panels that I have. I have 2 100 flexibles and 2 100 usual glass, testing, seeing how well they work. And I'm toying with the idea of gaining a SIG, at least one, to test what it's like. The flexible ones I would not never put on a roof. They're just too much of a fire hazard, and also they don't last long. They have a very short span. The SIGs are supposed to be, or they seemingly seem to be, indestructible, and hopefully not a fire hazard. It's great for shady sites, so it may provide better charging than other panels in the same scenario. Haven't purchased one yet, but I'm thinking of getting one for my truck solar system. I'm using 2 100 amp energy, I believe, panels, regular ones. Work perfect. It maintains my 2 batteries in my diesel truck. Wintertime is when this becomes critical because it will draw 200 amps from the battery when you start up in cold weather. And if you take a whole bunch of short trips, before you know it, I'll get a message saying low battery. And that has been eliminated with the current system. Hopefully the SIGs 150 will do as good as 2 100s. But I'll have to test that to see how it works. Okay, just ignore the wiring because I'll be putting in a wiring tray. Okay, I'm pointing out to a breaker, one for power breaker coming in from offshore, and the other one, a breaker going to my converter. And of course, this is the MultiPlus 120 amp battery charger. I can program it to a whole bunch of different parameters, and that's my AC filter. And with the assist there, I don't have to worry about turning on my air conditioning. It handles the surge. I'm using 4-odd from a Multiplus going to my distributor. And that's my Servo GX. I think the 2 feet or so 4-odd. Everything else for the batteries is going to be 2-odd. And I have a Multiplus 100, 300 underneath in the bottom. Okay, I'm pointing out. And that's my shunt. And that's my power in. All of it has worked great. And the way I've designed it, that black panel that you're seeing is 15 inches by 48 inches. All that fits in. I just need to put in a wiring tray. There'll be a few more changes going on. I'm going to be changing some of the layout because I have some other stuff I'm planning to add. So this is a quick rundown. And that is an accessory cable I can plug in. A 12-volt source such as my Juka, and there's my USB cigarette lighter and USB-C. And I needed more USB connectors, so I got a 4-port. My SunFun kit, the 300 HP, I have it set as to be the main BMS. It controls the charging and discharging. I'm impressed how well it worked. My shunt can do that. And also my Victron Multiplus can do it, and I can select either one of them. So I've been experimenting to see which one works the best. If I use the BMS shunt, I can probably push for higher amperage charging rates. The SunFun kit has its own parameters, and that's my quick disconnect when I'm testing different solar panels to see how they work. Sometimes I throw them on a roof, sometimes I throw them on my canopy, depending where the sun is. And right now, this trailer is just parked in storage. We're going to be taking it out and heading out for another trip in the very near future. So that's the setup, and we'll provide more updates as it comes on. Right now, I'm 100% pleased with the choices I made. I don't think I would ever consider another brand, Victron. 5-year warranty. They have a reputation of being very, very reliable and can handle very harsh weather. They're known for marine equipment, so can't complain. As you probably know, I'm encouraging people to subscribe, thumbs up. It appears that YouTube, you don't put the thumbs up. They ignore me, and they have a tendency of lowering my stats for some reason. So, would appreciate it. Put a thumbs up and subscribe to it. This will then allow me to provide more YouTubes. Thank you. Have a nice day.